Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card, this is actually a request. I was kind of playing with the wording of this request to try and make it into like a kind of title. But what we're going to be doing in today's video is we're going to be taking a look at the repressed parts of you that are waiting to be integrated and be claimed. So we're going to be taking a look at versions of you and parts of you that you may have suppressed or buried deep within, or felt ashamed of and not being able to activate within your energy for whatever reason. We're going to be taking a look at how that started. Then we're going to be taking a look at why they began being repressed, to really look at the underlying layer of it, and then we're going to be taking a look at how we can activate that and empower ourselves and bring that integrate that into our being. So shout out to the person that requested this video. I was trying to search through my comment section. I get a lot of comments, but I was trying to search through my comment section of the name. But if you comment down below, if this was you requesting this, I will pin your comment. I thought this was a really good idea. And I've noticed in a lot of my readings, a lot of, shadow energies coming up. And like I said, because it's spooky season, we're going to be taking a look at the more shadow sides, the deeper sides, the subconscious sides, as well as Halloween themed videos as well. So yeah, so let's get in. I have 3 piles for you guys to choose from. Pile number 1 is the Sunstone. Pile number 2 is the blue Caribbean calcite. And pile number 3 is the smoky quartz. So see which crystal you are drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will see you guys at your timestamps. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at the repressed part of you and how you can integrate them and empower yourself, how to bring those parts of you back home. So the way I'm doing this reading, you chose the Sunstone, by the way, I've got it right here. The way I'm doing this reading is I have 3 tarot decks, and I'm going to be pulling one deck on the right, which is going to take a look at your inner child, and it's going to show me the energy that is currently repressed, but it's going to show me it at its purest form before it was repressed, and when it was true natured. Then we're going to take a look at the other side with a different deck. We're taking a look at why your shadow self felt the need to repress that energy, because a lot of the times when our shadow represses an energy, it's to keep that part of us safe. And then in the middle, we're going to be connecting with your higher self, and your higher self is going to be shown how we can integrate these energies, and have us look at this energy through the higher self's eyes, So let's start with your inner child energy first. So we're going to be taking a look at the part of you that may currently be repressed, so you may have trouble activating, and we're going to be taking a look at that from your inner child's eyes. So pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1, show me the repressed energy of my pile number 1 through the eyes of that inner child. Show me this energy in its purest form, please, spirit guides. Okay, we have mom. Oh, mom, wherever you're from. I know it's pronounced differently. Okay. I almost feel a need to, I kind of feel like I want to cry a little bit. I don't know if you guys have a very dysfunctional relationship with your own mother. But when I tap in, there's this feeling from your inner child of I want to be nurtured. I want to be nurtured and I want to be loved. And it's not like, do this, do that. It's like, I want your emotional attention. I want your sympathy. I want your empathy. I want softness. That's where it's coming through. I want softness. I want, I feel like you guys at your core, and even as children, were very sensitive and actually very emotional souls. Like you, maybe you have a water rising, you don't have to, but I feel like you look at the world in a very sensitive, emotional way, in a very empathetic way. And I feel like some of you guys may not have had that return to you specifically through maybe your mother or just a main caregiver in your earlier life, because I keep feeling like where I'm supposed to be receiving nurturing and softness and calm, it's not there. So I almost feel like I need to defend that part within myself or repress that part within myself. And then there's almost this feeling of like, don't cry in front of people, don't show weakness, don't show sympathy, tailor yourself to the world around you, because it's almost like I need to repress the more passive, emotional, sensitive sides of me to be in a state of defense. And it's almost like needs that I truly need, like being nurtured, being loved, being heard, being emotionally supported. They're not needs that are being met, so I'm just pushing them down. Maybe I don't need these met. Like there's a vibe of that coming through so strong with the inner child here. So let's take a look at your shadow self and why your shadow self felt the need to repress this. We're going to go deeper into all the cards, by the way. I just want to get the cards out first. So pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Why did pile number 1's shadow feel the need to repress this energy? What caused pile number 1's shadow to repress this energy? 8 of Needles. We have the 8 of Needles, which is the 8 of Swords. Okay. I keep being shown like an entanglement, like a spider web. That seems to be something that I'm being shown, like an entangled spider web. There's so much going on emotionally, mentally, physically. It feels like I can't make sense of much. It's like a tornado. Yeah, that's something that's coming through. So let me pull your higher self's view of this energy and how you can reclaim and activate this energy. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1's higher self. How can my pile number 1's activate this energy and reclaim it? We have the Page of Swords. Okay. The Page of Wands was at the back of the deck as well. Okay, let me just make sure that that is focused, because this likes to... Okay, that should be focused. Okay. All right, Page of Swords, 8 of Needles, Mom. Okay. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you guys with your main caregiver didn't receive a lot of emotional validation, a lot of emotional nurturing. There's almost this feeling of being cut off there. But there's also this feeling of... like I see your inner child very sensitive. Lots of emotions going on, and I'm picking up more than I even should. Like I'm really picking up a lot of emotions around me. I'm seeing a lot of things happen. So I don't know if your earlier life was a bit tumultuous, because I'm seeing a lot of things happen, and it's almost like I want to go into that kind of window like of time and kind of almost soothe your inner child. There's this urge, like I'm feeling the need to kind of, and it could be yourself now, you know what I mean, your inner internal mother coming in, and it's like I want to soothe this inner child, and I want to, or this child, you know, your childhood self, and I want to kind of explain to this child, this is happening, but it's not your fault, and this is happening, and you shouldn't even be taking this on. Like I just think even just words being said to this child would make them understand things a little bit better. But there's almost this feeling of there's chaos around and no one's explaining anything to me, so I'm taking on a lot of emotions and I can't make sense of these emotions. And because of this, my needs and what I deserve and how I deserve to be taken care of in this instant, they're not being tended to, they're not being tailored to. So naturally then what's happening is I'm being shown swords and they're creating kind of like a shield, and then I've almost got like a hard face, like I can't cry in front of people, or I can't show weakness in front of people. I have to bottle all of this in, because to feel these deep feelings, or for people to acknowledge how sensitive I am, I almost feel like I can't express these feelings because they're wrong to feel. You know what I mean? You may have had like a parent that had to suppress their own needs and their own emotions and their own feelings, and had to step into more of a masculine role to protect themselves or to protect people around them. So it's almost like, oh, these feelings that I have, and I feel like you would have felt very deep feelings, it's almost like I need to repress this, I need to bury this down, I can't feel this. So all of the feelings that come with tapping into, let's just say, our divine feminine, that feminine nature that we all have within us, we all have residing within us. Even if you do resonate with the more masculine energies, you do have those within you. There's almost this feeling of I'm looking at them and I'm looking at them like they're wrong, because everyone's in protective mode and I need to get into protective mode. I need to protect myself. I need to protect the people around me. I need to be logically looking at this situation. I need to be scanning for danger. I need to be maybe looking after certain siblings or looking after a parent. I need to be looking after cousins. I need to be, you know, vigilant. I need to be aware of everything around me. There's almost this military shield then that's going over me with this Eight of Needles, where it's like all these feelings that I should have attended to and I should have felt and I should have, you know, been able to move through, and I should have had people taking care of that and holding space for me to do it, because that was a lot very young. Because I feel like you went through a lot very young, especially in terms of your own emotions. It's almost like they're being bottled down, so that this kind of military shield is kind of being placed over me, and now I have to, it's like every time these feelings are coming up, whether it's guilt, whether it's sadness, whether it's insecurities, whether it's feelings of abandonment, whether it's hurt, whether it's pain, betrayal, they're all being bottled within. And it's almost like I'm pushing them down because I'm not supposed to be feeling these. I'm not supposed to be feeling these. I need to be on at all times. I need to be looking for danger. I need to be hyper aware. I need to be hyper alert. I need to be physically you know, aware of everything around me. So it's like I'm in this logical state, which then puts me in a more masculine energy, where I'm then the doer, and I'm taking care of everyone's needs. So then it's like I wasn't catered to emotionally or looked after emotionally in regards to my own emotions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tend to everybody else's around me. So it's almost like I'm maybe looking at the person that should be holding space for me, and I'm holding space for them. I'm being their therapist, I'm being their counselor, or you know, I'm being the father in this situation, or I'm being the mother in this situation. Maybe you had a father that stepped away and then you became their father figure, no matter what gender, to a sibling. So it's like I have to be this. It's reminding me of Bridgerton. If you've ever watched Bridgerton, the second series, where the father of all of the kids passes away very young, passes away while all the kids are very young, and the boy, the main character in season 2, the guy that's looking for a wife, he has to step up and be the dad in that situation and play that role, and he's very hyper vigilant. Like he completely disregards his emotions and the person he's fallen in love with for you know, marrying because of duty, and marrying because this is going to keep my family safe, this is going to be good for my family. It's like I'm repressing my needs, and that's where that's coming in with this Eight of Needles, because the fact that I read it as Eight of Needs, it's almost like earlier on I learned that my needs don't matter, my needs are too much, I need to be focused on everyone else and everything to have a level of power and control over situations, and I need to bottle these emotions in. And then what I'm being shown is there's this feeling of like, can you help put me into that energy again, please, spirit guides, because it just came and then it left. And this is the thing, it's almost like these emotions that I've bottled down, anytime they do try to arise, it's almost like I need to overlook them and push them down, because what are they going to do for me in this situation? How are they going to help this situation? They're not going to. If anything, they're going to make the situation worse. And I feel like it's like the inner child and the shadow coming together. The inner child is going, this is painful, this need isn't being met. This is painful, this need isn't being met. And then the shadow self is going, okay, well, I would have learned this, from a young age. The shadow self is going, well, I don't want to feel that feeling again, because the shadow self protects us. So the shadow self is like, well, I don't want to feel that feeling of abandonment because I didn't have this need met. And I don't want to feel that feeling of confusion and that feeling of betrayal. I don't want to feel that again. These are bad emotions. They're negative emotions. And I don't want myself to process them or feel them. And I want to scan my environment for where this can happen again. Right? So say you have a mother who wasn't able to nurture you emotionally, that's going to be painful for the child, especially if they can see other people having that need met. So the shadow self is going, I don't want you to feel the way you're feeling right now. I don't want you to feel abandoned. I don't want you to feel that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to bury the feeling down, so that we never have to feel it again. Not only are we going to repress it, but we're going to scan. And anyone that tries to evoke that feeling, anyone that tries to evoke that vulnerability, you know what I mean? And tries to coax us out of this shell of, this military shield that we've built. Anyone that tries to get us to be vulnerable and get us out of this shell, we're going to shut it down immediately, because we don't want to feel vulnerable, because if we feel vulnerable, then their needs are going to come up. And if those needs come up, they might not get met. And I'm going to feel that again. And I want to protect myself. Don't want those needs coming up. So we're going to push down. So what can we do? We're going to step into the opposing energy. The opposing energy is protection. The opposing energy is the masculine, the protection. If we make sure that everyone else is catered to, because it's the inner child then is going, because you're a very sensitive, caring soul. Your inner child is going, but I don't want anyone else to feel these feelings. No. Okay, so what we're going to do is everyone around us, we're going to make sure that their needs are met. We're going to make sure that we tailor the situation and make sure their needs are met and their feelings are validated and their emotions are validated. So it's like, I know how to heal myself because it's coming through. But what I'm going to do is, instead of pouring it towards myself, because I learned earlier on, because you had the antidote in your hand all along, you were just pointing it at everybody else and not yourself. Instead of me pouring that within, because I was taught early on, my needs don't matter, or these feelings, they don't matter, I need to push these down. But I know I have the antidote in my hand, the medicine's been here, but I haven't been taught how to take it. Well, I don't want to see anybody else feel that way, because I can feel the feelings of other people. I'm strongly clairsentient and empathic, and there's people around me that I care about, and I can feel when they're feeling betrayed. I can feel when they're not emotionally validated. I can feel when they're not being heard. Well, I've got all this medicine, let's give it to them. So then we give it to everyone around us, and we give it to everyone we meet, and then we start to find all of the broken birds that want to be healed and looked after and nurtured and loved and mothered. That's the key word, you're mothered. I'm going to give it to everyone because I don't want anyone to feel like this, and I'm going to find the void. I'm going to find the void and I'm going to feed it. But the reason you're wanting to feed that void is because that void then is within yourself. And what you do then is you turn around with this medication, which is the mother and the nurture and the loving. You pour that into yourself. That's the medicine here. With your higher self coming through with the Page of Swords, it's like I have all the right idea, but I'm giving it to everybody else instead of myself first, because I never got taught myself first. I should have been nurtured. I should have been loved, I should have been cared for, but I'm telling myself that it's okay, and I'm telling myself that that's fine, and I'm telling myself, well, that just maybe wasn't for me. I wasn't supposed to have that, and I'm burying it down, and I'm giving it to everyone else. And maybe some of you guys may be aware, but there may be a subconscious avoidance of but if I pour that into myself, I'm going to open a can of worms of feelings. I'm going to open up a can of worms of when I didn't receive what it is I deserved, when I didn't receive that emotional validation. And that's going to bring up betrayal, that's going to bring up hurt, that's going to bring up these negative feelings, and it's almost like I'm looking at them as negative. And that's where the shadow self is like, no, I know, so we're going to protect, we're going to repress, you know what I mean? We're going to repress it, and we're going to scan for danger, and we're not going to let anyone in. But this is where you need to take the top of that shell off and feed all of that medicine that you were given to everybody else around you to yourself. Because what your inner child is doing is going, I know that I want X, Y, and Z, so I'm going to feed it to everyone. But in actuality, your inner child is doing that because it's coming through in hopes of If I give all of this nurturing and this loving and all of this, which I'm a pro at, to everybody else, maybe that means that finally I'll feel worthy to have that back. Maybe that means that I'll feel worthy, that people will see me as worthy to give that back to me. If I can nurture, let's just say the mother here, because we've got, you know, the mom card. If I can nurture my mother, if I can heal my mother, if I can give to my mother, and you can look at it as the father too, if I can nurture my father, if I can heal my father, if I can give those feelings to my father, then that will mean that they'll be healed. And that means that they'll be able to see that I'm worthy, and then they'll give me that back, because truly, that's what I want. That's what's being repressed. So the part of you that's being repressed is walking into relationships and connections and going, I want this soft energy returned to me. I want love returned to me. I want emotional validation. I want to be nurtured. You know, I want to be held. I want to be listened to. I want to be felt. I want to be understood emotionally. I want people to see my depth. I want to be able to feel safe to release any of these feelings or hold space for these feelings, or I want to feel safe to acknowledge very normal human emotions like anger, frustration, sadness, upset, and I want to be validated in that, you know? I want to be held in that. And that's what your inner child truly wants, and that's what's being repressed here. It's almost like I feel like I can't ask for my needs. I can't ask to be loved. I can't ask for my worth in regards to, you know, my needs being met, like, you know, emotional validation. I want to be, there's this feeling of I want to be healed back. I'm healing everyone. What about me? I want to be healed back. I want to be given back to. You know, I want to be nurtured. I want to be mothered. I want someone to hold me. I want that. Because that's truly what your inner child wants. I want that. And I deserve that. You know? And that can bring up a lot of feelings. It can bring up anger. It can bring up hurt. It can bring up betrayal. Because it's like, well, why didn't I get that? Am I not worthy? You know? Why didn't I get that? And that will bring up anger. It'll bring up frustration. It'll bring up those feelings. But those feelings aren't bad feelings. You're entitled to those feelings. You're allowed to feel those feelings. The first step of activating this energy is holding space for your inner child to bring all of this up. You know? I'm angry I didn't get that. You know? I'm sad that I didn't get that. I want to grieve that I didn't get that. And just holding space and allowing those feelings to come up in itself is empowering, because you're teaching your inner child, no, your emotions are valid and they're okay. And once those feelings come through, we then ask the inner child, well, what do you want? Well, I want emotional validation. Okay, I'm going to give that to you, because I've been giving it to everybody else, but I forgot to give it to you. I wasn't taught to give it to you. And that's what you're going to have first. F everybody else for a minute. It's very black and white, like F everyone else for a sec. What do you want? I'm looking at my inner child and I'm going, what do you want? You know, and I'm nurturing that inner child, emotional validation. I'm going to give it, you know. It's like I'm being shown like a picture of a childhood photo of you, and I'm speaking to that inner child and going, what is it that you want? What would you like? I'm going to give it to you, and then giving it to yourself, you know. Because I see somebody wanting to take a day off and then going, I can't take today off. I've got to be doing X, Y, and Z. Or this is my only day off, but this person wants me to do this, and this person wants me to do that. No, this is your day off. You don't have to cater to everybody else's needs, you know? You don't have to. Because it's almost just feeling like, I do have to, though, because it's the military thing of I have to do it. No, you don't. You really don't, you know? Especially if they're grown-ass adults, you know what I mean? You know, children are different, but grown-ass adults, you don't need to. You don't need to. And you can only give as much as your cup is full. But you were taught to not fill up your cup first. So all this energy comes in to replenish, but it's going to everybody else, you know? So this repressed part of you is being open to the vulnerability of emotions, and being open to being loved and nurtured back because you deserve it. There's this feeling of I shouldn't want that back. I shouldn't have these needs and I shouldn't want that back. Well, you should. because your inner child's coming through to really, really want that and need that. And I feel like the medicine, the plain answer here is you've had the medicine in your hand this whole time. You were just giving it to everybody else around you because you could feel that they had the same wound as you. So maybe you've had some trauma bonding connections, karmic connections, where you saw people with the same wound, so you filled their void instead of filling your own, you know. And when they weren't able to give it back because they hadn't had that within themselves anyway, you know what I mean, so they weren't able to, it's like when you weren't able to when they weren't able to give that back, it recited the same pain of, oh well, I'm not worthy to receive it back, I didn't give enough, I'm not worthy, now I need to protect myself more, you know. So there's maybe like trauma bonds that would have happened in regards to your connections, because it's almost like I need to nurture and feed and give and love and emotionally validate and make people feel confident and make people feel happy, and you know, all of that. I need to make people feel good and happy and safe. I need to be a safe space. I need to heal people. But what you were giving out was the medicine you were, it was actually prescribed to you, you know. It was prescribed to you because these people were mirroring this wound. And all you need to do is turn around, and all that you were doing for everybody else, I want to hold space for you. I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to see the light in you, and I'm going to hold space for you to step into that. When you're having a bad day, I'm going to be there for you. All of that inwards needs to be poured inwards. That's the antidote. That's the medicine. That's what your higher self is saying. You need to take the medicine that was prescribed to you, that you were given to everybody else, because you're a master at it. You just need to pour it back in. And when you first start to do that, repressed feelings will come up. And the only antidote there is you need to hold space. You need to hold space for these feelings to come up and validate your experience as a child and validate the feelings and needs that come up. Because it will probably get painful because they might not have been met, you know? And that's where you want to feel them and feel into them. So let's pull your oracle cards. I'm going to move these up. You truly, deep at your core, want to be nurtured. You want to be held. You want a hug. If I was here, I'll give you a hug. If I was, well, I am here, but you know, I'm energetically sending you all the hug. You know, if you could feel me, I'm sending you the hug. But yeah, there was a clip of Kim Kardashian, and she was crying in the clip, and she was saying something like, why can't everybody get their ish together? Why can't I have one bad day? Why have I always got to be on and going? Why can't everybody else just get their ish together? Why can't I just have one bad day, just once? Why can't I? And I kind of feel that there's almost like I feel like you may, when you feel into these feelings, allow yourself to speak aloud, allow yourself to cry. If you want to journal, whichever way it comes naturally to you, it's going to be different. But there's almost, you may get words that come up, you know, like your inner child, like, well, why didn't I receive this? Why did you give this to this person and not me? Because you may have seen other siblings receive treatment that you didn't get. And then there's that feeling of rejection again, you know? And I feel like you may have even tied your worthiness into how much I can give. You know what I mean? How much I can give and how much I can heal. Because it's like I've been assigned this role and I'm doing it like vigilantly, like doing it. You deserve to fall back. You deserve to have a bad day. You deserve to grieve. You deserve to release these feelings that are pent up within you. You deserve to be loved and nurtured back in return. And the way that you receive that back is you start pouring that into yourself. Because once you start pouring that into yourself as well, you teach your inner child and your shadow self. You go to your shadow self, thank you so much for protecting me, but we don't need to do this anymore. We don't need to protect anymore. We don't need to be in this constant state of fighting, you know, and looking for where I'm going to get hurt. We don't need to do that. And then you look at the inner child and you pour that love into that inner child and you say, actually, we feel these feelings, and these feelings are okay to feel. And these needs are okay to have. And this is actually a very big need for me. And I'm going to hold on to that. So when you step towards relationships moving forward, you know, oh, this person doesn't make me feel safe. This person doesn't make me feel nurtured. This person doesn't make me feel emotionally, this person doesn't make me feel emotionally safe. And then it's like, well, actually, this person isn't for me. this person isn't for me then. And there's always a little bit of rigidness coming through of like, oh, I can't just, you know, do that. I can't just tell people that this is what I'm looking for, and then if they don't meet it, because there's this feeling of like, I have to self-sacrifice, I have to just allow anyone in. But it's these boundaries then will keep you safe, and you can teach your shadow self, we look for safety where we can come out of our shell. We look for this, protect me in this way instead. You know, we make our shadow work for us because our shadow has light to it and good to it, you know. And we teach our inner child, we only pour into people that pour into us, pour into people that make ourselves feel safe, pour into people that appreciate us. And we have to make sure our cup's full first, you know. And these are our list of requirements, and that high maintenance, those boundaries are what's going to keep us safe, because you deserve to be emotionally nurtured. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. How can my pile number 1s activate these? Oh wow, what do you feel? Yeah, you're such a feeler. Like, you're somebody that's able to tap into other people's needs and feelings, but like, you're able to make sense of other people's feelings, but then when it comes to your own, it's almost like, I need to repress, or I need to hide this away, or I shouldn't be feeling this. But you're actually being called right now to really sit with your inner child, you know, in that childhood energy. And you're being called to really feel into what your needs are, why weren't they met, and what feelings are attached there, so that you can release. That's one of the main antidotes here, because I feel like you do that for other people. I feel like you listen to other people. I feel like you emotionally validate other people. I feel like you pour into other people. I think that you soothe people and you help people move beyond certain emotions. But it's almost like, I can do it for other people, but I have a hard time doing it for myself. And the way that you do that is you listen to what your inner child is saying. You know, sometimes we have emotions stored in our body. Feel into your body. What's your body telling you, you know? You're being called to sit back and listen. Pile number 1. How can my pile number 1s activate these energies? We have, oh wow, defend to the end, the worthwhile. I even see your inner child like diligently like protecting everybody around, but then it's almost like, how do I explain it? Okay, so say you have a sibling and somebody says something awful to that sibling, or somebody tries to like hurt that sibling in some kind of way, like is mean to that sibling. You jump in, protect, like sword at the ready, don't you dare say this to this person. But then it's almost like somebody's saying something to you, and it's almost like, I'm almost attacking myself. It's like, oh, what if that person's right? And it's like, no, you need to protect that version of you, that inner child. It's like the same way you're it's almost like I'm taking my shell and I'm covering somebody else, and I'm protecting somebody else, and I'm emotionally validating somebody else, and I'm loving somebody else. But then it's like, when it comes to myself, it's almost like I'm not protecting in that same way, if that makes sense. Like, I see you looking at a sibling and then maybe being mistreated in a relationship and going, you deserve more than this. You deserve X, Y, and Z treatment. But then in your relationship, it's like somebody could be treating you the same way, and it's like, oh, it's okay, you had a bad childhood, or you went through this, or you went through that. And it's like, no, you need to defend that inner child in your heart space, because you deserve to have needs too, you know? It's almost like you're empowering other people to have needs, but then when it comes to yours, it's almost like, oh, I don't know. And that's why you're being called, take the medicine yourself. Take that medicine yourself, put those boundaries in, diligently protect your heart space in that way, in regards to putting these boundaries down. You can feel sympathy and empathy for somebody, but not allow them to you know, knock you off your pedestal, not allow them to disrespect you, you know. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. How can my pile number 1s activate this energy? We have trust yourself. You may have a very strong connection to animals, because I feel like you get, you know, that calm and that peace and that like emotional kind of understanding. I feel like you get that from animals. And I feel like animals are very drawn to you naturally, just because you have a very healing nature. And I feel like animals move like this a lot. Like, you know, cats will energetically protect you. Dogs, when they know you're going through something, they'll take care of you. And it's the same with, you know, any kind of animals. You'll see they're usually drawn to you. Even in the animals we don't think, like insects and stuff, they tend to be very drawn. It's just sometimes we're not able to see that, but they are. And there may even be like a pet that you formed a very close emotional bond with, and I do feel like you do bond with animals very well. And you may even say sometimes I prefer animals to people, because maybe you always feel like you need to be on for people, you need to be given to people, people expect things from you. So there's this feeling of like, I feel like you guys, you're a lot more extroverted than you think, but there's almost this feeling like I need to cut everyone off and I need to hide away because people are just taking from me. And I feel like if I'm not healing, nurturing, being there for people, then I'm not doing my duty and I'm not worthy of receiving that same love back. And that's just not true. And with Trust Yourself, you're being called to listen to your own feelings and trust these feelings that are coming out. There's almost this feeling of like I have to have control over everything mentally around me so that I don't slip, and so that I don't I feel like I'm sleeping with a sword next to my hand. I'm waiting for danger constantly. I'm waiting for somebody to, you know, I can't be vulnerable. I can't let myself slip like that. But you deserve to live softer than you are living. You deserve to live a soft life. And that's where you're being called to listen, because this softness that you're repressing, this nurturing, when I say nurturing, like I said, you're nurturing everyone else, but it's having space held for you so that true nature of your softness can really come out. I feel like you may not recognize that sometimes in people, because you were never taught to be vulnerable and open like that in childhood. And that's what we're working with here, you know, pouring into yourself and validating your own emotions so that you know when there's people around you that make you feel safe emotionally, so you can have those beautiful connections where you're able to move more softer, or, you know, not constantly have to be in this state of protection constantly. I hope that makes sense. Back of the deck we have, every journey starts with a single step. I'm gonna have to cover it up. But yeah, every journey starts with a single step, and there's loads of butterflies. And if you see, she has like this like suitcase, and it's got butterflies coming out of it, and a light coming out of it, because I feel like that's your inner child kind of, it's not safe for me to feel these feelings, it's not safe for me to have these needs, I'm staying in my trunk, like I'm staying here. But all of that beautiful energy in there, it's almost like parts of you as well that you maybe haven't even met yet, because they've been repressed. They're all waiting in there until, you know, you feel safe, but then your shadow self is like, nope, we're not ready. And it's like, I know the antidote, I've got the antidote in my hand. Like, you've got the apple here, apple a day keeps the doctor away, I'm sure that was the saying. I have the antidote here, but I'm giving it to everybody else instead of myself, because I was taught to give to other people before myself. Yeah, so how you reclaim this energy is wholeheartedly just pouring into your heart space, pouring into your inner child, moving slower, listening to your feelings, validating your feelings, angers and frustrations that come up, validate them, listen to your inner child. What do they need? Pour into your inner child. That is the antidote, and that's what your higher self is saying is going to create that rupture for these, first of all, heavy feelings to come up. Some of you guys have already started doing that, I'm hearing, but then to listen to your own needs and feelings, and just, it's going to take its time. It's not going to be an overnight process, and being told it's not going to be a couple of weeks. It's not going to be, oh, by the end of the year we're going to be, you know, this is a journey. Everything is a journey. But like that card said, every journey starts with a single step, you know. And no matter where you're at on that process, the fact that you're even watching this reading, you're already growing, you're already evolving, you're already, the fact that this is being revealed to you means that the lesson of this is starting to transpire, and it's coming up in your awareness, like, okay, let's clear this, we've learned what we needed to learn, or we've activated what we needed to activate. Now it's time to unravel this and remove that from our energy. So that's what I have for you guys, pile number one. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. I really hope that this reading helped you. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 2, welcome to your readings. So we are taking a look at the repressed parts of yourself and how we can integrate them back into your being. How can we reclaim them? So what I'm going to be doing is, you guys chose the blue calcite. I have 3 tarot decks. The first deck we're going to be using is the Inner Child deck, and we're going to be taking a look at this energy that you may be repressing. We're going to take a look at it in its purest form. We're going to take a look at it through the eyes of your inner child and your childhood self. And we're going to be taking a look at it before it became repressed. Then we're going to tap into your shadow, and we're going to allow your shadow to show us why along the line it felt the need to repress it and why it chooses to repress it. Why is it looking at this energy like it needs to be hidden? Then we're going to be taking a look at, with the middle card, your higher self's perspective on this. And your higher self is going to be showing us how we can activate this energy, how we can clear, any of the rigidness around activating that, and how we can bring it home and reintegrate it into our being. So I'm going to get straight in. So pile number 2, please, can you tap me in, please, spirit guides, to the collective of my pile number 2s. Can you tap me in to the collective of my pile number 2s? Pile number 2, please. Pile number 2 is repressed energy, please, spirit guides. Can you show me it in its purest form? Pile number 2 is repressed energy. Can you show me? Okay. Well, we have the boogeyman, which is the devil. Okay, the boogeyman, the devil. Interesting. And what's interesting as well is, when I'm thinking of the boogeyman and the devil, and I'm thinking of like this entity here in this wardrobe is meant to be, the boogeyman, but the door's open and the light's on. You know what I mean? It's like, when we're not scared of the dark, we're scared of what's in it. But in this picture here, in this card, the light is on and the door is open. That's quite interesting. Let me get your shadow energy. I want to see the full picture. See, I want to get all the cards down. So pile number 2. Can you show me pile number 2 shadow self and why they chose to repress this energy? I'm hearing Cleaning Out My Closet by Eminem. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. Why did pile number 2 shadow self feel the need to repress this energy? Okay, we have the 9 of Cups, the 9 of Potions. Okay, this is making sense now. Let me just get your higher self's message. This is making sense. Okay, pile number 2. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. Pile number 2's higher selves. How can they reclaim this energy? 7 of Wands. Very interesting. I'm hearing this is real, this is me. I'm exactly who I'm supposed to be. From the Camp Rock movie. 2 of Wands at the back of the deck. We also have the 10 of Swords at the back of this deck, and we have the 5 of Potions, which is the 5 of Cups. Okay, I feel like you guys experienced a lot early on. There's almost this feeling of like reputation as well. And there's this feeling of like, like it's almost like, okay, I'm in a family home and there's somebody in that family home that's maybe acting up or not doing things that are very good, but it's almost like that then puts a damper on who I am. So it's almost like I'm taking on that I'm not a good person either. I'm taking it on that I'm the baddie. I'm taking it on. And it's almost like because it could even be something as simple as like, because I'm being shown in Harry Potter when the Weasleys are in the shop, and obviously they don't have the best like of everything. They don't have the most money, and Lucius Malfoy comes in with his son, and if you don't know who Lucius is, he has a lot of money, but he's a very dark wizard. Like, he's not a nice man at all. Whereas the Weasleys, they don't have a lot of money, but they're very pure, very sweet, very loving. They're the good guys. And the evil, guy comes in and he kind of mocks the Weasleys for not having X amount of money. He mocks them. He kind of calls them a disgrace to the wizards because they're speaking with muggles, you know what I mean? Like, they believe that people that aren't full of magic, they're as deserving as they are, whereas this bad guy, he doesn't think that. He has like no empathy there at all. And he says to the Weasley guy, the good guy's like, you are a disgrace to like wizards because like you're poor and you're being nice to the people that aren't magical. And Arthur Weasley, the dad, he goes, I think we both have a completely different idea of what brings disgrace to the name of wizard, because it's like money isn't everything. You're actually a horrible person, but you think that you're cool, but you're not. Like, you may have all this money, but no respect is here. And when I get taken to the boogeyman here, I see you guys actually from very young, you may not have had a lot growing up financially, or you may have struggled at times, or there may have been certain things that happened in regards to your family that, you may have sometimes felt embarrassed about, or you may have not liked, maybe you've had to cut off certain family members, or there was family members that weren't acting the best, and it's almost like, oh, this is coming down on the whole kind of family here. But right at the beginning, I don't see you taking a lot on. Like with the boogeyman here, like I said, the doors open, the lights on, it's just like, I'm a kid, or I'm a child, or I'm a teenager, or I'm a late teen, or whatever, like, and I'm just experiencing this as it's happening. Like, I'm not the cause of it, you know what I mean? I have no need to feel ashamed of it. I have no need to this is just the circumstance I was born into, and I'm not taking anything necessarily on, but then I get taken to the shadow self, which is showing me, well, why are we repressing this then? These things are happening, but it's out of my control. I know that they're happening, but I'm not scared of them. They're not making me feel insecure. It's just something that's happening to me. But then the Nine of Cups is here, and the shadow self's going, the Nine of Cups, the Nine of Potions, it's like, when we think of the Nine of Cups and emotional fulfillment, and we see this guy and he's got all those cups in front of him, it's almost like I'm looking at people and they seem to be having an easier time of it, or this person seems to have a lot of money, or this person, all their family members are together there and mine aren't, or this person doesn't have anything going on in their family that's quote unquote bad, and they're telling me that I should be feeling bad for what's going on here. And it's almost like I'm internalizing that, and I'm looking at myself and all of these imperfections, and I'm going, well, we need to get rid of this, we need to get rid of that, we need to get rid of this, we need to get rid of that, instead of looking at, this is a situation I was born into, I've grown from it, I'm evolved, I'm a very strong person, and despite all of this, I have a good heart. Instead of looking at it that way, it's almost like I kind of want to hide this. I kind of want to I'm feeling ashamed of this, or I'm embarrassed of this, or I'm not good enough because I don't have X, Y, and Z, so I've got to hide all of this, that I'm not, even though I'm walking around giving everybody empathy. I'm walking around, treating everybody the same. I'm not judging people for what they have and what they don't have. But because of other people's projections and perceptions, I'm now judging myself for what I have and what I don't have. And all of these good qualities, it's almost like, yeah, but they're not good to put on the shelf, like empathy and a good heart and all these, they're not good to put on the shelf. So it's almost like I feel like I need to hide these away, and I need to be perfect. I need to look perfect. I have to have the best of things. I have to have X, Y, and Z, because it's almost like I feel like I need to kind of overcompensate, and I need to be maybe ashamed, or I need to be embarrassed, or I need to hide away these imperfections. And instead I want to shut the door and I want to turn off the light, and I don't want these parts of me to be revealed. When in actually these parts of you, you grow just, they're not even parts of you really. It's more you just standing like, yeah, this is what I was born into. This is what I experienced, and I still came out, you know, good. I'm hearing the Thank You Next song by Ariana when she sings, I've learned from the pain and turned out amazing. It's almost like I don't want to own these parts or this part of my story, because this isn't empowering and I need to hide it away. I shouldn't own this part of my story because, you know, it's not glittery and it's not glamorous and it's not beautiful and it's not, you know, as cookie cutter and white picket fences as other people's. So that means like I'm not worthy to stand here. I'm not worthy to have X, Y, and Z. So I need to hide it away. But then it's festering because there's like an insecurity here where I kind of feel like I'm not enough, and then maybe I feel like I need to, with this 9 of Cups, overcompensate in my work, because if I overcompensate in my work and I get all these achievements, then it erases it in my mind. But no matter how much I'm achieving, I still have that feeling like I'm not enough because of what is hiding in the closet. Or I need to give to everyone and be there for everyone, or I need to be a quote-unquote good person with no imperfections, and if I have one imperfection that means I'm a bad person, you know, like I need to be the good guy, I need to be the one that's everybody's friend, I need to be the one that's liked, I need to be the one that is always showing up and doesn't have a bad day, because if I have a bad day, then that's a, you know, a bit of this boogeyman coming out of the closet, and we can't show that, when in actuality human beings are imperfect. Human beings are going to have bad days. Human beings are going to F up. Human beings are maybe going to do the wrong thing sometimes. It's how we learn. You know, human beings are going to retaliate sometimes. If somebody says something, we might say something back. You know, sometimes that does happen, but we learn and we grow. And it doesn't mean that you're not worthy, you know what I mean? Because there's an imperfection here, an imperfection here. Our imperfections make us perfect, and our imperfections teach us how we can then still grow. And there's almost this feeling of like, I have to, I can't, there's almost this feeling then like I don't want to stand up for myself, because I don't want to give off this type of vibe, because then, you know, people will think of me in this way, like the boogeyman here. People are gonna, skeletons in the closet, open it up. I don't want to show this side. I don't want to show the struggle inside. I don't want to show the vulnerable side, because then people are gonna not think that I'm strong enough, and they're gonna result me back here. There's something from childhood that's in a closet, and it's like I don't want people to know about this. But what you don't want people to know about was completely out of your control. What you're not wanting to activate and own is like, this was part of my story. You were a victim to it, you know? You didn't choose for that to happen. It almost feels like it happened because of other people maybe around you. It happened to you. That wasn't your fault. It wasn't, you know? And I feel like because of that, there's almost this feeling like I need to tailor to everyone's needs around me, or I need to be what everyone needs to be, and I need to be perfect in everybody's eyes, because the minute that I'm not, then that is then proven to me that I'm not worthy because of this. It all comes back to this. And with the 7 of Wands, when we think of the 7 of Wands, it's like the card before the 7 of Wands is the 6 of Wands, where the guy is on his horse and he's getting lots of praise. And everybody's there going, woo, you're on a horse, woo, like whatever, you've done whatever. And they're looking up to him. But just as quick, we slip to the 7 of Wands. And this guy that was on the horse getting all of this praise, he's now having to stand up and defend himself. So there's almost this feeling where your shadow self then is going, let's keep this person happy. Let's be what this person needs. Let's be what this person needs. Let's be what this person needs. Whatever this person wants from me, they'll have. Because if I don't, they might not like me. And then it's like, they're then going to project onto me that I'm this person, you know, that I'm not worthy, that I'm a bad person, you know. And maybe you have feelings of like, oh, I'm a bad person because of something that happened to you, but it keeps coming through like this wasn't your fault, you know. Like, I'll give you an example because it's something I've been working through. I'm not going to name this person because I haven't asked to name them, but they reached out to me recently and offered to give me a reading. And they don't normally do readings, and I was like, I felt such a strong pull. I was like, yes. And when we were uncovering, I'm going to say this to be vulnerable. Sometimes I don't like to talk about this because I don't want to be vulnerable, but I feel like this will help you guys to kind of like explain. When we were going, you know, working with my energy and stuff, we came to this feeling where I had like repressed shame. And I had repressed shame because growing up, obviously my mother had gone through a lot in her life and had, you know, substance abuse issues, and a lot had happened to her, and I'd taken on a lot of my mother's shame. But because when I was a child, what I was experiencing, I'd have a lot of adults around me project onto me, who was very young, wasn't my fault, but I'd have a lot of adults project onto me, you know, what maybe they'd want to say to my mother, but they'd say to me, and I'd take it on as my own. You know, I'd have lunch ladies that knew my mother say things to me in front of other kids. It'd be very, I would say, maybe embarrassing. It would make me feel very shameful. I'd have some people's parents like, oh, she's a troubled kid, she's a troubled child. And I was a very innocent child, but that was projected, because it was like, that was projected onto me because maybe that was people's view because of the way I was growing up. But I would take that on as shame, and I feel like you may share the same thing. That's why I want to share it with you. But I was holding on to this shame of who I was and parts of myself that I had to grow and evolve through. That wasn't my fault. And I feel like you may have done that too, because I keep being shown people maybe projecting onto you projections that aren't true, because things were happening that were out of your control with this boogeyman card here. And that's where it's almost like I want to turn the light on and open the door, because this thing that you're feeling ashamed of, this part of you that you're wanting to repress, or this experience that maybe you experienced that you wanted to hide away, one, I want to say you were a victim to it. It doesn't define you. And secondly, I feel like this is the fact that you were able to make it through that, or make it out of that, or grow through that. I feel like that's so powerful, and that's why you're being called with the 7 of Wands to claim that. You know what I mean? There's almost this feeling like I want to stand up for myself. I want to voice my opinions and voice who I truly am, without having to feel like if I make one slip, you know what I mean? If I make one slip of, oh, I can't be there for you today, or I can't be what you need me to be right now, or I can't be the perfect person for you. If I let something slip that I'm this bad person and I'm, you know, this bad guy, or I deserve to be treated that way, or, you know, I deserve to like cower away and I'm not who I am. It's almost like this mask of perfection is being placed over me to be what everyone else needs. So I'm kind of bottling my own true feelings, my own true needs, my own opinions. I'm bottling them away, because if I speak them, it's almost like a cord being taken back to where this boogeyman card is. It's like, oh no, this is like a secret. This is something I should be ashamed of. This is something that I should be scared of. This is something that I should be hiding away. You know, maybe it's you. How do I put this into words? So I feel like what's being repressed is your part of your story that you have grown through, that you've evolved through, that's made you who you are. I feel like you're repressing parts of your story, which is then causing you to maybe feel ashamed of it, or embarrassed of it, or this is a bad part of me, this is an imperfect part of me that I need to hide away. And I feel like it's then controlling you in the way of, I need to show up perfect for everyone, I need to show up and be what everyone needs, I need to hide away any of these imperfections. This person wants me to be at their beck and call, so I will be, because that's how I, you know, the perfect person and worthy of being on the shelf of potions here. That's how I become that. Or this person needs me to constantly be loving, so I'm constantly going to be that. But then it's like, today I don't feel like being loving, and today I don't feel like being this perfect person, so it's like, well, I'm not going to be that because I don't feel like it. But then it's almost like people are then expecting that of me, and then maybe trying to pull at me because they're so used to me being what everyone needs. And it's almost like that's where your higher self is calling you to stand firm in who you are and be like, I don't want to do that today. That's not what I want to be doing today. And I have got imperfections. That doesn't mean I'm not worthy. Just because I can't show up for you today because I need to show up for myself doesn't mean I'm not worthy of this friendship. Doesn't mean I'm not worthy of this relationship. Doesn't mean I'm not worthy of this success. Just because maybe at one point in my life I did this and I feel like I shouldn't be proud of it. It doesn't mean that I'm not worthy of love now. It doesn't mean that I'm not worthy of success now. Just because maybe at one point in my life I didn't have it all together, or maybe when I was growing up I didn't have X amount of money, or I didn't have you know, the cookie cutter family or the picket fence family that maybe other people around me have, but that doesn't mean that I'm not worthy of having it later on in life. That doesn't mean that I'm not worthy of achieving those goals later on. Just because I didn't grow up with money doesn't mean that I'm not worthy of then having money later on in life, because I grow and I evolve, and I've grown through this circumstance. There's something that was completely out of your control that it's almost like I want to hide it away, like the boogeyman. I want to hide it away, which I feel is what is unconsciously and subconsciously controlling your need for perfectionism, and controlling your need for, if I can achieve this amount of money, or if I can achieve this material possessions, or if I can achieve this type of connection, or if I can achieve this career, then that means I'm worthy. But truly what you're trying to prove yourself to is not other people but yourself. But you were always worthy from the beginning, and this circumstance, whatever it is in this closet, it was beyond your control, and it doesn't define you. It was just a small thread on your journey, and by understanding it, letting that boogeyman out of the closet, turning the light on, and understanding, yeah, this is part of my story. It doesn't define me. This is what I went through. These are the feelings that I went through. This is what happened. This is a very strong part of me. You know, this is a part of me that got me through this. This is a part of me that got me through that. This is a part of me that saw the worst things and kept going. I love this part of me. I'm proud of this part of me. You know, that's reclaiming that energy boldly with the Seven of Wands. This was one of my best parts of me. It got me through a lot. This part of me saw the worst and still got through. You know, this part of me might not have had this amount of money, or this type of family unit, or this type of home, or these type of clothes, or this type of respect in regards to a sense of community. But this part of me had a beautiful heart. This part of me was strong. This part of me was vigilant. This part of me was, you know, this part of me got me here, and I'm proud of it. You reclaiming that part of you boldly is what is going to help you bring that out. And it's like the doors come open, the boogeyman comes out, and it turns out that boogeyman wasn't even a boogeyman. It was like, it was a Barbie. It was a Care Bear. It was a My Little Pony. You know what I mean? Because when we look something in the eye, it becomes less scary. And I feel like this is something that is has been unconsciously with your shadow self. It's like, okay, I don't feel worthy. I don't feel good enough. How can I feel good enough? Well, I don't feel worthy because these people projected onto me that I didn't have X, Y, and Z. Or these people projected on me that I'm this because of this happened, or this because of this happened. So now I just need to prove to them that I am worthy and that I'm not that. So I need to distance myself from all of that, and I need to be perfect. That's what your shadow self began to do. So if I get this car and this house and this and this and this and this and this, I'll rewrite it. But who you're trying to really prove that to is yourself. You're trying to get rid of those feelings. But there's, you know, we can keep making money. There's infinite numbers, you know, in the world. We can keep making money. It's not going to fill that void, you know. We can build that family. We can heal from X, Y, and Z. We can have that home and that car or whatever, but we're still going to feel that need of like, but it's not good enough, but I need to do more. I need to do more. And it's because we're being driven by something that was completely out of our control, and just to put it blank, wasn't our fault. You know? That's what's coming through here. And you're being called to stand bold in who you are. Because with the Five of Cups, it's being at the back of the deck here, it's almost like I'm looking at everybody else's Nine of Cups, and I'm looking at what I don't have, so I'm not worthy, so now I need to overcompensate here, you know? Yeah. Let's take a look at your oracle cards. Pile number 2. What else can you tell me about this energy, please, Spirit guys? How can we further activate this energy? How can my pile number 2s stand firm in this energy? How can they reclaim this energy? We have spirals of manifestation. Okay. Pile number 2. You are were enough the minute you popped out of the womb, is what I want to say to you guys. You were enough the minute you popped out of the womb. And please don't let these experiences define who you are and give you, don't allow other people's projections to give you a low opinion of yourself and who you are. And don't let that narrate what it is you deserve or what it is you can bring in. Because there's this desire to prove myself and show people that I'm worthy. But like, do you see those people that weren't being empathetic having a desire to show people that they are the most empathetic person ever? You know what I mean? Because you could easily stand there and go, I was going through all of that. All of that. I was being shown darkness. I was being shown X, Y, and Z. Never turned dark. Never projected that onto people. You had X, Y, and Z that you're telling me I need to be worthy. Were you showing me grace? Were you showing me empathy? Were you looking at me through your heart center? What's going on with your heart center? You know, you could have chucked that back. And it's almost a feeling, I'm not saying to chuck that back at people, but to show your inner child and show that version of you. Look how you stood tall. Look how you didn't chuck that back on people. Look how you stayed firm in your energy and you still kept building. You could have easily got revenge and done X, Y, and Z. You could have been what people projected you to be, and you didn't end up being that. And you didn't end up chucking that back on people. You already proved people that a long time ago. You know? It's almost like firmly, I want to stand there and it's like, I'm not who you're saying I am. I'm not who you're saying I am. And I don't need to prove that to you anymore. And then it's like, I want to break the chains, you know? And yes, I have had moments where I didn't know how I was doing X, Y, and Z. It was all I knew at the time, you know? Maybe you didn't have a parent to teach you certain things. So maybe you had to learn the hard way in certain areas, you know? But you didn't have anyone, you didn't know any better. And you learned and you grew and you evolved from those situations, you know? But they could have, you know, had parents that could have taught them to do better or look from, you know, a more empathetic place, and they didn't choose to do that, you know? And it's almost like I'm internalizing all of this, and it's like I'm, with the boogeyman here, it's like, when I can't reach that goal, when I'm not doing enough, when that person tells me I wasn't good enough of a friend, it's proven to me that I wasn't worthy. It's proven to me I wasn't perfect enough, and it's proven to me that why I shouldn't be on that shelf, and why I'm not deserving of X amount of money, or having this type of life, or having this lifestyle, or, you know, just chilling out, you know, or deserving respect back. As simple as that. Yeah, how can we activate and reclaim this energy? It's like I'm running on a treadmill with a donut in front of me, but the treadmill is going nowhere, and the donut's just being dangled there, but I'm not moving forward because the treadmill is stuck in place. Shock of the new. How can my pile number 2s reclaim this energy, please, Spirit Guides? How can my pile number 2s reclaim this energy? Trust yourself. This card came up for pile number 1s as well. Trust yourself. Let's take a look at your back of the deck. Same as the pile number. You might have been drawn to pile number 1 as well. You could have been drawn to 2 different piles, because we've got the same card here and the same card at the back of the deck, and I have shuffled them. We have every journey starts with a single step. This came out for pile 1, and as you can see, there's like a suitcase with light inside of the suitcase and all of these butterflies. It's almost like I'm holding on to baggage. I'm holding on to insecurities that aren't mine and shouldn't be mine. I'm holding on to similar what I'm currently working through, which is like shame. I never speak about what I'm currently working through. I always talk about things once I've passed it. So I feel a bit vulnerable doing this, but you know what? I trust you guys. But yeah, you know, I may be holding on to shame. I'm holding on to maybe even, do you know what it is? It's emotions as well that I'm entitled to, but I'm not feeling, because I don't want people to project a view onto me. Like, someone's just said something and I should be enraged by this, and I am kind of enraged by this, and I am feeling anger that this person said it to me, but I'm not saying anything back because I don't want to if I feel this, then I'm not a good person, so I need to, you know, push this away. Me standing up for myself, me being loud, me taking up space, me doing X, Y, and Z, it's almost like I'm not entitled to do any of that. I'm not entitled to do any of that. I'm not worthy to feel confident in who I am. I'm not worthy to feel, you know, to take up space. I'm not worthy to be seen. I'm not worthy for this light to shine on my head. I'm not worthy of any of this. And the more I feel maybe emotions that I'm being told I shouldn't be, like anger, frustration, a bit of weakness coming through. Human beings have weaknesses. We're allowed to have them. It's almost like, well, I'm not worthy then. I'm not worthy of feeling confident. I should be bowing my head when I walk into a room. I should be ducking. I should be hiding. I should be, you know, hiding my crown. I don't even deserve the crown. It's like a feeling of that, because it's like no matter what I'm then achieving, I still don't feel deserving of it, because I'm still playing out this narrative of I'm not deserving because of this. But whatever this is, it wasn't your fault. And it's time to let go of that. And the way that you let go of that is through self-empowerment. Shock of the new, trust yourself. Spirals of manifestation. 7 of Wands, standing up for yourself, placing boundaries, listening to your imperfections, like why you feel imperfect, like, okay, why you feel obliged to do what somebody's telling you to do, why you feel obliged to make X amount of money because, yeah, it's the driving force. You're being called to listen to this, like, you're being called to feel into this feeling and listen to when this comes up, because it's like an everyday, like, oh, I can't be seen this way because then people will think this of me, so I need to hide that away. But then it's like catching that feeling and feeling into it and asking, why am I feeling this way? Why am I ashamed to be seen this way? Why am I ashamed to not be able to reach that goal? Like, why am I ashamed to be able to be seen that way? Or I've just missed the deadline for work and I didn't get it, but I feel ashamed. Or someone's just projected something onto me, and without even thinking, I'm almost taking it in as my own opinion, and I feel ashamed. Why am I feeling ashamed of that? Like, what? Like, why do I feel like I need to hide away? Why do I feel like I'm not good enough because this person said this to me? Why am I allowing that narrative to control who I know that I am? Why am I allowing that? And it's almost like I'm listening in and I'm following it all the way back, and then I'm going, but that's not my fault. That's not my projection. I don't know who you're talking about, but that's not me. You're projecting this onto me, but that's not me. You know what I mean? Oh, this person wants me to drive them here, but I'm tired. I don't want to do it. So I'm saying no. And then that person's going, well, F you, you're not a good friend. And it's like, actually, yes, I am. Like, I'm feeling that feeling for a second of like, oh, I've just let somebody down. But then it's like, well, actuality, what about you letting me down? I'm tired. Why do you want me to do X, Y, and Z? So it's almost like affirming to yourself when you feel these feelings of I need to be doing this or I need to be doing that. It's almost like I'm feeling like I'm a slave to people's feelings and desires and needs. It's almost like I feel like I need to cater to everything around me to keep up the facade of perfection. So when these feelings, like, I'm looking in the mirror and my hair isn't going the right way, but I don't want people to see me now, because if people see my hair like this, then they're going to think I'm unkept, and then they're going to think this of me, and then they're going to think that of me, and it's almost like I'm already waiting for other people's opinions to tell me I'm not good enough. But then it's like looking in the mirror and going, yeah, my hair's like this, so I don't care what people think. You know what I mean? I don't care what people are projecting onto me. I know I look after myself. I don't care what people's opinions are. I know, you know, I know I'm clean. I know I look after myself. If my hair isn't going that way, it's fine. So it's almost like validating to yourself, you know? I know who I am. I know who I am. I would call you guys to get a piece of paper and write down all of the traits that you're proud of in yourself, all that you are, all that you know of yourself to be true, and write all of that down. So when people try and project, oh, well, you're this, you're that, because God forbid, you know, you turn up to work late, or God forbid you can't show up emotionally for somebody because you're dealing with your own thing, you can go, well, actually, no, Actually, no, I'm a kind of a good person, actually. I don't know why you're projecting that onto me, because I didn't show up once. What about all the other 9 times that I've shown up? What are you even talking about, you know? There's a feeling of that, so really get into the root, but also taking a look at what it is that may be causing this shame, and really feeling into the feelings there, and acknowledging those feelings, holding space for those feelings, but also empowering that version of you and looking at that version of you in a different light. Because there's nothing to be ashamed of that version of you. I'm being told that strongly, whatever that version is. You know, even if like there would have been times when maybe you were taking certain vices to make it through, that doesn't give anybody the right to project that onto you. Like if you've been through something and you've, you know, heavily gone through something, and you've turned to something to cope because maybe you weren't being given any other way out, or you didn't feel that you didn't know any better at the time, that's nothing to be ashamed of, you know? That's nothing to be ashamed of. And people like to project, but it really is nothing to be ashamed of. And you're being called to send love to that version of you and really hold space for that version of you to feel into those feelings, because there's something that I'm feeling like I want to hide away, or I'm not good enough, or I need to prove myself because of this phase. But that phase, you were so strong and did all you needed to do, maybe even to survive. Yeah. So it's empowering, feeling into that time period, whatever time period that's coming up for you that you know this is probably stemming from, feeling into that, acknowledging that, allowing those feelings to come up, whatever feelings do come up, embarrassment, sadness, anger, frustration, shame, you know, hurt, rejection, allowing that version of you to be held and feeling those feelings, and then looking at that version of you in a different light. You got me here, because you wouldn't be here without that version of you. That version of you got you here. That version of you made it through. That version of you is a powerhouse, and looking at it from a different perspective. And then once you've done that, then I want you guys to maybe write a list of all your beautiful traits, your good traits, what you know you deserve, so you can stand in that. So when you do deal, because I feel like you've dealt with other people's projections, so when you do deal with other people's projections, because especially when you've been given and given and given to people around you, you know, pulling that energy back, and I know from experience, people can kind of not react the best to that because they're used to you know, showing up as X, Y, and Z for them. But when you start to step into your own frequency and who you are, people then might not respond to that the best. And I think that may be what you may be avoiding with this shadow self. You don't want that response of, well, you're this or you're that. You don't want that projection. But no one can tell you about you other than you, and that's why I'm being called for you to write that down. Nobody is perfect, you know? Nobody. Yeah. So pile number 2, this is what I have for you guys. I really hope this reading resonated and it helped you guys. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if it did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching. And hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey Pal 3, welcome to your reading. So we are taking a look at the repressed parts of you and how to integrate them and bring them home. So you guys chose the smoky quartz. I have 3 tarot decks, and what I'm going to be doing is the first card that I pull is going to be from the Inner Child deck, and I'm going to be taking a look at this energy that may be repressed in its purest form before it was repressed. Then I'm going to be pulling a card from the Nightmare Before Christmas deck, and that's going to be your shadow showing us why it feels the need to repress this energy and what caused it to want to repress this energy. And then in the middle, we're going to be connecting to your higher self, and your higher self is going to be showing us that energy in its highest form and how you can integrate that energy back into your being and reclaim that energy. So let's get in. So you guys chose the smoky quartz. I think I just said that. Let's get in. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides. If you hear planes, apologies. The jets are running up and down where I live. Pile number 3. Pile 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 3s, please, spirit guides. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 3s. Ooh, your card just ran off. 2 seconds. Where have we gone? Okay. Okay, so we have the 3 of Pentacles. Okay. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Why did pile number 3 shadow feel the need to repress this? What caused my pile number 3s to repress this? What caused my pile number 3s to repress this? I'm hearing learned behavior. We have the 8 of Needles here. 8 of Needles, which is the 8 of Swords. And pile number 3's higher self. How can we integrate this energy back? How can we integrate this energy back? Five of Wands. That's interesting. 5 of Wands. Okay. And the 6 of Cups is at the back of that deck as well. All right. Okay. The 3 of Pentacles in its purest form. I almost feel like I want to, like, with the guy and he's like exercising and stuff, there's almost this feeling of like, because the quote with the cards, because obviously it has like little quotes from the inner child. The inner child quote here is, I'm growing stronger. There's almost this feeling of like, I'm looking at life in a very high perspective, or I have very big dreams, or I'm going to achieve this. I'm getting really good at this, so I want to, it's almost like I want to shine. I want to, like, I keep being shown a child, but the child's getting really, really big, like really, really tall. And because it's getting tall, it's seeing things from a high perspective. So then it's having all of these dreams and aspirations. And then it's having all of these ideas. And then it's becoming very smart. And then I'm almost seeing people like, oh, no, get back down. Get back down. Get back down. You know, take that crown off your head. You're thinking too big. You are... you can't go that far up. If you hear noise, I've got a drawer with loungewear in, and Luna decided to, because she can open drawers, she decided to open the drawer and go to sleep. So if you hear noises, that's her getting adjusted to the little bed she's just made. But yeah, there's this feeling of like, oh cool, you're shining, now you're shining too much, dim it. Put it out. Or it could even be circumstances with this 8 of Needles here, like, you know, you may have been like a really good dancer, but then you might not have had the finances to go to like a dance school. So then it's almost like, oh, this dream's kind of being capped, or I'm just being there's this feeling of like, don't get ahead of yourself. Like, I keep hearing that, like, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't, you're thinking too big. Your dreams are too big. You have a very vivid imagination. You know, like there's a vibe to that. There's like, that's what's coming through. But then I'm being shown clairvoyancy, like you guys being quite intuitive and quite clairvoyant and being able to see beyond your current circumstance, which is why I'm being shown a child being really tall and seeing from a higher perspective. So you're able to see timelines ahead of you, or maybe very high timelines that you could step onto. But then it's almost like adults and things around you, like, they can't see what you're looking at intuitively or energetically. So they're like, no, that can't happen. Because I keep seeing the way your mind's working, like very intelligent, you know things, you're saying things, and then people are like, no, but it's true. Like, I keep hearing, but it's true though. Like I keep being shown somebody in class, and they're very, like, the way your brain's working is so wise. Like, I just see you guys being really intelligent, like really, really wise and intelligent, and it's like, you're saying something, but then a teacher's like, well, either you shouldn't know this yet, like you've gone above and beyond, or even a teacher isn't kind of comprehending something that you're saying. And then it's almost like pushing you down, where in actuality, you've just said something really interesting, but it's almost like you're being told that you shouldn't be saying that. So it's almost like I'm capping you where you're at and telling you that you shouldn't be saying this or doing this, or you shouldn't be wearing your hair like this, or you shouldn't be wearing your outfit like that. Yeah, like I'm being shown a lot of that. Like, to give an example, I remember when I was like really young and I hated like fast food and stuff like that, and I remember I'd go to like parties and McDonald's and stuff. I really didn't like it. And my mum used to always say to me, Lex, you're so weird. Like, you cannot go to this party and have a fruit bag and water. Like, you're going to a McDonald's party. All the kids are having chicken nuggets or they're having a cheeseburger and you're eating fruit and water. Like, this is weird. This is embarrassing. Just ask for a cheeseburger. And I'd be like, oh, because I didn't want to eat that. My mother still talks about it to me this day. She's like, you were so odd. Like, you just kept wanting fruit bag and water, and like that was just really weird. And I'm like, I didn't want to eat that. Like, I just didn't want to put that in my body. But like, I guess maybe I knew something as a child that, you know, beforehand I didn't want to be putting that in my body, and I really wasn't into it. But then I ended up eating at McDonald's as I got older. So clearly I adjusted to having, you know, some chicken nuggets and stuff as I got a bit older. But that's what I'm picking up here. It's almost like I'm being adjusted then to look at things small, but then I don't feel like I'm being fulfilled, because with this 8 of Needles, it's almost like this repressed energy then. I need to hide this. When we think of the Eight of Swords, there's all these swords there, and she's kind of like repressed. She's kind of like held back and tied in with these swords. She's stuck. So then there's almost this feeling of like, I don't feel like people in this, you know, in this job or this circumstance, I don't feel like they're seeing me. I don't feel like they're understanding me. I feel like I'm able to make everybody feel seen, or I'm able to understand people, but then they're not seeing me, because it's almost like I'm coming to the shore, into the shallow end to be around people, but no one's coming into the deep end, and I just feel like a fish out of water, you know. Like, I may be somebody that is able to feel deeply into things and see things deeply, but then I've got to be this very outgoing, extroverted person when I don't want to be, and I don't feel like I'm very good at that, and I feel like a fish out of water, and I just don't feel like myself, or I don't feel like I fit in. But I'm repressing the need to go back into that deep water and swim, you know, like. And I hate it when you see like SeaWorld and stuff, and these whales and these dolphins and these sharks, they're meant to be in the sea, they're meant to be swimming, they're meant to have infinite space to swim, but they're in these tiny pools, and you share these stories of how they're depressed. Of course they're depressed. Do you know what I mean? Of course they're depressed. Even human beings, you know, we're not designed to be moving in this manufactured way that we are, but we're all moving that way and being called to rise and grind and pay this and pay that and these bills, and we're tired because we're not meant to be moving in that way. We're not meant to be. We're meant to be moving in a different way, in a way that tailors to our own frequency. And there's this feeling of you guys knowing that, but it's almost like I have to repress a lot of that. And I actually am being told you guys have been doing a lot of work in cleansing that. When we think of the smoky quartz, when we use smoky quartz in our practice, when we have smoky quartz, it cleanses energy, you know, that murky energy, that negative energy. It cleanses it from our being. It purifies us. It takes that energy away from us. And I feel like what's caused your shadow self to repress that is, all right, well, I need to fit in and adapt to this circumstance. So, you know, me being good at X, Y, and Z, let me hide that away, and I'll try and learn to do this. But like, you know that saying, you don't teach you don't measure a fish's intelligence on its ability to climb a tree. You don't, because a fish is meant to swim. The same way you're not gonna, you know, look at a ladybird, chuck it in the water and be like, that ladybird can't swim, You're not going to do that, because that's not the ladybird's purpose, you know. But human beings is like, we're all meant to fit one mold, and I feel like there's a frequency and an energy that you're very good at and that you're empowered in, but it's almost like I need to repress that, to put this mask on to fit into this world. But this isn't where I shine. This isn't where I'm able to be my best, and that's where I feel stuck. So why do we have the 5 of Wands on how to integrate this? How is that working out here in regards to integrating this from the higher self? How is the 5 of Wands causing the integration? Okay. Yeah, it's going, okay, let me think of can you give me an analogy to make this make sense? All right, I'm walking along the beach and all the people are on land. I'm naturally meant to be in the deep waters. And the minute I put my foot in the water, I just feel this calling. It's like Moana, how far I'll go. I have this call and this urge to go deeper into the water. But I know that I'm told that I need to stay on the shore and I need to be moving my legs and around here. But I can feel this urge. When that urge comes up, you know, and that part of your brain is telling you, no, you need to be on land. You need to be doing what everyone else is doing. You need to be keeping that part of yourself repressed. You need to be hiding that part of yourself. Fight back at it. And when I say fight back at it, I mean listen to your feelings. Listen to what it is that feels right for you. And allow yourself to jump back into that water. And allow yourself to jump into that flow. And allow yourself to go into the deep end. Because what's for you is then going to be in the deep end. Because that's your true energy. That's your true frequency. You know? That's where your energy is supposed to be. Because there's something about maybe psychic abilities, you just being very intelligent in the way that you look at things, your vision of logic, you're able to see things from a very elevated point of view, a very high perspective. You could have very big dreams, like I want to sing, I want to produce, I want to be I'm here in cinematography, I want to be an archaeologist. And then people are like, how would you do that though? How would you do that? It doesn't matter how you do it. You can see, just allow yourself to follow that. It doesn't matter other people's opinions, because that's where you're wanting to come back to, because there's something in childhood, or there's something in your earlier life where you wanted to do something, or there was just a frequency or an energy that was naturally a part of you that you then learned to repress and tailor to something else. And it's something that's going to actually really empower you. But it's something that you're looking at like, I need to hide this. Like, you could be somebody that's very clairsentient, you can pick up feelings, but that part of you, you're not speaking out about it, you're not talking about it, because that part needs to be repressed. What if people look at me funny? What if people don't see the world like that? Who cares if they don't? Who cares if they don't? You've been tailoring yourself to fit in, or dimming your light to fit in, or, you know, keeping yourself in the shallow end to fit in all of this time. You deserve the people to meet you where you're at, and if they can't, well, maybe they're not for you. I feel like some of you guys are heavily like maybe psychic or spiritual, and it's like, I don't want to talk about this outwardly because then people are gonna, you know, and it's almost like I have to be this version of myself. But no, you don't have to. You're allowed to stand in your frequency. Because otherwise you're going to feel entrapped, and you're just going to feel like an alien around the people that are around you. It's like, I can see people, but people can't see me. But when you stand in that and you hold on to that and you let yourself just go to the deep end, all the other fish at the deep end are going to go, oh, look, there's another one. Oh, you know, you're like me. Let's swim around each other, you know? Oh, you see the world like I do. Oh, I really see you. I really see you. I wouldn't have seen you if you were in the shallow end because I was down here. But now you're in the deep end. I can see you. I can see you. And I get you. And then you start to feel seen. And then you start to activate those parts of you again. And then that cap that was placed on you, you take it off. And you climb. And you grow. And you grow. You know? Because I keep being shown a pot, but your roots have outgrown the pot. The flower, the plant, whatever it is, it's outgrown the pot. But then you're being told, no, stay in the pot, stay in the pot. No, you just need a bigger pot. You need to be out of that little pool doing little laps, you know? Like whale, I'm being shown you guys as whales. Like whales are full of wisdom. And you're just doing laps in this tiny little, pool. And people just think you're there to perform tricks. When in actuality, you're way deeper than that. You're way more than that. And these people are ignorant because they can't see you that deep. But if you pop back in the sea, you're going to be around all the other whales and they're going to see you because they understand you. You know? And that's why you're being called here with this energy. So let's go deeper. How can we... it's truly just accepting who you are and your truth and really standing in it and not feeling like you have to tailor yourself, you know, to those around you. Like, I'll never forget, I used to hide a lot of my connection to spirit. And I remember, because I did beauty therapy and skin therapy in college for a little while, and I remember this woman came in and I had her, and I think there's a reason I had her. I used to hide all of this, and I had a black tourmaline necklace on, but no one would have known it was a crystal, so they would have, you know, no one said anything. And the woman came in and she's like, oh, a black tourmaline, and then she said something about my energy, and I was like, oh, you're like me. I remember thinking it. And she got on the bed because I was doing a massage for her. And she goes, what did she say to me? She goes, oh, have you been having migraines as well recently? And I was like, yeah, I have had migraines. And I thought in my head because of the full moon, but I didn't want to say it. And then she goes, it's because of the full moon, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, because this is the first time I'd had an interaction like that, really. And then she, I remember when I was doing a massage, she goes, are you going to do massage as you get older? And I was like, I don't think so. And she goes, oh, you should do something like this because you're very intuitive. You know where my spots are that have like a lot of pent up energy. It's like you can see them. And I was like, oh, you see me? Like, and I remember that feeling, and I felt so seen. And I felt like there's another one, you know, like, oh, you look at life like I do. And I didn't feel like I needed to hide. And I was a very introverted person, but when she came in, we spoke the whole time. And I remember someone saying to me, oh, you were really talkative then. You were really talkative. And I'm like, yeah, because she was speaking my language. And I forgot about that memory. This actually brought me a lot of joy. I forgot about that memory, but I feel like those moments will happen more and more and more for you guys as you stand in this, because it doesn't have to be spirituality, it can be anything. You know, it could be just be the way you look at life, or the way you tailor to, you know, the lifestyle that you have. Maybe you're a very outdoorsy person, you know, maybe you're a very health conscious person, and you're into like nutrition and stuff. It's going to be different for all of you. Maybe you're into science and you're super intelligent and you know things, or you're into psychology and you can read people. It's going to be different. Some of you guys, it may be spirituality though, but it's going to be different. And I feel like standing in who you are, you know, being proud of that too. I feel like that's going to help you activate this and bring this through. It's like fighting against those thoughts in your head that are telling you to repress that. And when I say fighting, it's just like standing in your truth. Pile number, am I using these? No. Pile number 3. Pile 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3. Oh, that card could have caught on fire then. Oops. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3. How can my pile number 3s reclaim this energy? Against the grain. She's in the water. Guys, I need to cover her a little bit. Because I wish I could show you the full photo, but you know what YouTube's like at the moment. Let me get a bigger crystal so I can cover her. But what it is, guys, is a woman in the water, and it says against the grain. And there's birds swimming under the water. I have to hide the girl that's swimming, but it's saying against the grain. You're meant to go with your own flow, you know what I mean? You're meant to move in your own pace and listen to your own inner currents, you know? I love that that's come up against the grain. I feel like you've always kind of felt like, even when you've been with the crowd, it's almost like, I feel like a lone wolf even though I'm here. I feel lonely even though I'm, you know, every time I fit in, I feel more alien. Doesn't make sense. I was told that if I try and fit in, I'll feel a more sense of community, but every time I do that, I not only feel disconnected, but I also just feel alien still. I don't, you know, I don't feel as accepted as I should, because I'm a fish out of water. Pile number... See, that's how you activate that. You go against the grain, you stand in your own currency. In your own inner current. That's what I meant. Your own currency, your own inner current. We have inspiration. Look at this woman's head, and she has all of these ideas. I think you guys are super intelligent. I feel like you guys are the creatives of the world. Or you know when you see scientists and they make discoveries, or you see like creative people and they make those movies, and you're like, whose head would think of that? You know, you think of like who, like when J.K. Rowling did Harry Potter, like how did her head think of that? Look at that franchise. How did the head think of that? But can you imagine, people were probably like, meh, writing a book, that's not going to get you very far. You know what I mean? But look at Harry Potter. Yeah. I feel like your minds are so fruitful. There's a lot of activity there. I feel like you guys are super intelligent. I feel like you're very innovative. You may have a lot of Aquarius in your chart. You may have a lot of Pisces in your chart. Could have a lot of Capricorn, Sagittarius. Those 4 signs I'm picking up on. Pile number 3. How can my pile... grounding these ideas and going for them regardless of what people say. I think that's another thing. Leaping in the net will appear, and trusting yourself. The more you trust yourself, the more you're going to keep doing it, you know? Like when the fish is in water, it listens to the currents. It goes with the current. It moves. And, you know, the fish and the sea creatures and everything underneath the water, because they've been under there for so long, they're so attuned to it. They know all of the currents. They know how to move. They know when... you know, there's like a stronger current coming, or they know when there's predators. They know when to move because they can see it. Whereas if a human being went into that water, they wouldn't have a clue. And it's the same with animals now. Like human beings are quite cut off to, you know, a lot of their wisdom, a lot of their truth, but they're also cut off to their own physical bodies. Whereas cats and dogs, they know when there's a change in atmosphere. Cats know when there's a storm coming. My cats are running, climbing the walls, doing parkour, like, you know, climbing up the walls and jumping around. They know when a storm's coming. They can see what I can't see, you know, when they're spiritually protecting me when I'm sleeping, and I have, you know, they can see what I can't see. And that's you guys. I feel like you can see things that maybe other people can't see. You can see deep into things that people aren't able to, you know, go deep into. And that's why you're here. You're not meant to make yourself small for that, you know. Pile number 3. Oh, this card has come out for all of the piles. This card wanted to pop out. Gonna have to cover her up as well, because she's not dressed. But the card says every journey starts with a single step. She's come out for every pile. Every journey starts with a single step. And I just want to keep saying with that, oh wow, I was seeing a fish out of water. Look what we've got. A fish. Release the dark wound, let love live. And look, the fish is being placed back into the water, back into its home. I'm hearing Alien by Britney Spears, and she's like, not alone, not alone, not alone. There's a lovely song by Madison Beer as well called Homesick that you might connect to. That's Madison Beer, Homesick, and Britney Spears, Alien. I feel like they may, but I feel like you've always felt a little bit alien, but it's because you've had to tailor yourself maybe to the needs of people or to the level that people could digest you. I'm hearing you're done playing small. Let these ideas grow. Let these parts of you evolve. I feel like that's how you're going to step into your power, and that's how you're going to stop repressing this. Is really listening to your own inner currents. And when these thoughts come up, or you get, you know, these thoughts in your brain because there's other people's projections going, oh no, you can't grow this big, or you can't, that isn't true, or you can't make this a reality. Watch me. I'm just here and watch me. Watch me. You know, use it as fuel. That's how you're going to integrate this. Against the grain. Love that. So, pile number 3, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.